Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which of course is the twist on the old Pride and Prejudice story. Of course, that story is about 19th century lovers that are from two different social classes, and at first they don't like each other or whatever, then they grow to love each other and all that. We all probably know what the story of Pride and Prejudice is, but now we have a little twist. Now there's zombies. There's a zombie outbreak, and now everybody knows how to fight with swords and guns and stuff, and they have to defend themselves from zombies and also make a little bit of love. Oh yeah. And Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is a book I've heard of for years, probably around when Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter was first announced to come out. Like not even not the movie being out, like when the movie was announced, like this is coming out. I was like, really? And then I heard like there's other ones like Sense and Sensibility and Sea Monsters, I think. That's another one. And then I heard, of course, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and, of course, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. I was like, okay, this is the kind of genre I can kind of get behind, but I can also see it being really annoying, and I can also see them screwing it up really hard when it comes to movies. Now, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, I actually enjoyed myself, even though there's some slow parts. I enjoyed it. I thought the guy that played Abraham Lincoln did a great job. I thought the action scenes were pretty good, and the CG, while not good at all, actually fit very well with the cheesy, silly premise. So I enjoyed that movie. It wasn't great. It was definitely a B movie, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. So Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, I was not looking forward to it really because I thought the trailers looked really... The first trailer looked eh, and then every other trailer, and every time I've seen the first trailer over and over again, I was like, I could see this being bad. Well, is it? Let's talk about it. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. The story for Pride and Prejudice and Zombies actually, surprisingly, does a good job of mixing Pride and Prejudice with zombies, which I was not really expecting because I was expecting it just to be a shitty movie. So I was expecting it to be like kind of Pride and Prejudice, but not really. Maybe like Pride and Prejudice done by an 8th grader or something like that. And then, oh, zombies, and then everybody has to fight, and the girls are going to be really hot while they're fighting, and the guys are going to be very, like, macho, and it's going to be slow motion action, like, oh, and then zombies are like, ugh, and like, I thought it was just going to be really ridiculous. I was pretty much expecting it to be like Sucker Punch, except Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. If you remember Sucker Punch, that was not a good movie. I didn't hate it, but it's not a good movie. But this movie doesn't do that. It actually really does do a Pride and Prejudice story. If you know what Pride and Prejudice is, that's what half the story of this movie is. Or even more than half. I'd say like 60% of this movie is Pride and Prejudice. It's a love story between two people that are in two different social classes in the 19th century. And they don't like each other at first. They actually kind of despise each other. And then they grow to love each other, kind of, you know, whatever. I mean, it's an old story at this point. And that's not the reason why you're coming to see this film. Even though it should be, because most of the story is about Pride and Prejudice. But you're probably coming here to see the other aspect, which is the zombies, which I have to give them credit. They really do mix the zombies in there relatively well. I mean, it doesn't make sense, obviously not. It's not realistic. But they don't just go, they're zombies. They just show up. Like, they implement the Black Plague into there where they died, and there was something that happened where they just started rising from the grave. And ever since, there's been zombies, and everybody learns how to fight and stuff so they can fight off the zombies and not get bitten and turn into one. And they even make the zombies actually kind of intelligent. And they actually do a cool thing where if you turn into a zombie and you resist the urge for human brains and all that, you can actually kind of become a zombie civilian, like a person that is a zombie, but they're not a zombie. They're dead, but they still act like a human, which I thought was a really, really nice little, very neat aspect to the film. That didn't really, they didn't explore that too much, which is a little sad, but it was a cool idea, which I thought they did a well done enough job, considering they had to still tell the story of Pride and Prejudice and still have all the action and all that, and explosions and all that. So they did a good job. And another surprising thing about this film is that the acting is actually very well done. I think everybody did a really good job playing their characters. I thought Lily James was great as Elizabeth Bennet. I thought she was a very headstrong and strong woman. She was actually like literally strong. She did a really good job with the action scenes, even some of the comedic scenes. Her reactions are really well done. She's really good in this, and she does a good job with some of the really bland dialogue. Even though in the trailer I was like, uh-oh, she might be a weak part, because there's a couple of lines in there where she kind of delivered them wooden, and she does in the movie, but there's a lot more dialogue that's not in the trailer that she does a good job with. And she's really good in this. She's very likable. She's not just another pretty face. She's actually pretty good. Yeah, actress-wise. And she was also in Cinderella from last year, if you don't remember. She was good in that, too. So, yeah, she's really likable and really fun. I like her. Now, Sam Riley, who plays Mr. Darcy, the love interest, I have to give him huge kudos, because I wasn't expecting anything from this guy. I was just like, all right, badass chick film. And this motherfucker just shows up in the beginning of this film, and it's that POV shot of him cutting off the zombie's head from the trailer. And that's what the movie starts off with. It starts off with him cutting off the head of one of the zombies. I'm like, this is a badass beginning. And it was really badass. And the way he like came in, he was just like, I know there's a zombie here. And he just like busts a freaking bottle and just like starts stabbing the dude in the neck and slit his, like, cut off his head. That's a nice way of getting away from your movie's PG-13 and you can't show someone getting beheaded slowly. Do it POV, because they did a really well they did it very well in this film, and I thought he was really badass. I thought he was. Like, throughout the film, he's just, like, randomly blowing zombies' heads off with his gun and stuff, and just slitting, throwing zombies into furnaces. I thought he was badass, and then, of course, later on, it has to get into the whole Pride and Prejudice love story. And I thought he was still good. I thought he was a good actor, and kind of a badass character. But when it got into the more of the romance aspect, I was like, oh, I like the part where Mr. Darcy was just insulting people left and right and blowing zombies' heads off. That was my favorite part with Mr. Darcy. Easily. So anyway, I thought Sam Riley was really good in this. I liked his character quite a bit. And I would say, like, pretty much everybody else did a really good job. Everybody in the supporting cast, I would say those two were the main characters, definitely, for sure. I mean, they're in the title, Pride and Prejudice. That's what their characteristics are, really. And now, my favorite part about the acting, though, Matt Smith. Matt Smith shows up, who, of course, played Doctor Who. And he shows up, and I'm like, oh, he's going to be like an integral part to the plot. He's going to be like a really big character. He might end up being the villain or something. And he shows up, and he's the goofiest son of a bitch you ever see in a movie. He is so goofy and so silly that I was just like, okay, this is what this movie needed. This is what Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter needed. They needed a character that was just ridiculously goofy, but not like Jar Jar Binks goofy, like, oh, I'm tripping over everything. His character was just ridiculous, but really enjoyable. And I have to give Matt Smith a lot of credit. He shows up like halfway through the film, and then throughout the film, every time he's on screen, he's tripping over stuff. He has just like funny reactions. He's really good in this, and he's a blast. So the story itself is good. The dialogue is good. The acting is good. It's even funny at times, and like legitimately funny, even if it's unlegitimately funny sometimes. That's fine. It's called, you know, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, so sometimes it could just be so bad it's funny. So it has all that stuff. So it's very positive so far. Now let me bring it down a little bit. The action in the movie is good. It is. When it gets to it, though. There's not that much action in this film, and when it gets to it, it's fine. But I have to admit, I was expecting way more, especially from that trailer. That trailer kind of lied to you, because when the last like minute of that trailer is just nothing but, yeah, let's rise up and kill some zombies, yeah. And it's kind of slow, and there's a little bit of action here and there, but it's not action packed. Like, even when it is like getting into like a lot of the action, it's like quick little bursts of action, and then there's more of the Pride and Prejudice stuff, or there's more like, oh, we have to get ready for the war between us and the zombies, even though it doesn't feel like a very good build up to that. It's just very, very, like, when it gets to the action, it's well done, it's very well shot. And for the $25 million budget, they did a very good job with all the zombie makeup and even some of the explosion special effects and stuff like that. I mean, even some of the the camera work is very well done, but it's just there's not enough of it. And I mean, Pride and Prejudice, we like the story for the most part. Most of us like it. I mean, we have to, because there's like 400 freaking movie adaptations of Pride and Prejudice, so someone has to like it. So we have to like it enough so that there's that many movies. So at this point, we don't need to see the entire story again. Give us something different. Give us the action. Give us the zombies. And they give us plenty of zombies. There's a lot of really good moments with the zombies. And the zombies themselves look pretty damn good for the most part. A lot of them look very cheesy, like greenish, like tint of their skin color and stuff like that. And then some of them are just like jaws missing and stuff. It's very gruesome at times, like very like, whoa, this is PG-13. That's very surprising. There's actually a scene where a zombie's head explodes out of nowhere, and it's very surprising and like probably the best jump scare this year, which is very sad considering 2 horror movies already came out this year. But The Witch is coming out, which I can't wait for. But anyway, which I can't wait for. Get it? But anyway, there's a lot of really good moments like that with the zombies and stuff, but there's not that much action, and when it gets to it, it's very slow and very fast and just like over with very quickly. That is no more evident than at the ending. The ending is so abrupt. It really is. It's like, now there's a zombie war, there's a bunch of zombies, and they ride across a bridge and it explodes, and that's it. Oh, okay. It's very abrupt. So, overall, Pride and Prejudice and Zombies thing. Pride and Prejudice, I can't even say the freaking title anymore. Pride and Prejudice and Zombies is a fun film. I won't even say really, screw that. I'd say it's a good, fun little movie. It's bombing at the box office, which considering how other films this year so far haven't, and they're really awful, like Dirty Grandpa, like, this shouldn't really be bombing compared to those. But really, the budget was small, so I guess it really doesn't matter. They're not losing much money, if they lose any money at all, period. But I enjoyed it. I thought Pride and Prejudice and Zombies was a fun little action film with not as much action as you would hope, with some funny little dialogue here and there and some good acting, and a decent retelling of Pride and Prejudice with zombies in there. So overall, I give Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, I'm going to give that a 28 out of 40. Fun film. Yeah, most likely one of the best movies this year, which, so far at least, and that is very, 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 very sad. So anyway, there you go. Thank you, and until next time, goodbye.